Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 69 part 4 and last one, entitled A New Era, a New Paradigm, Transition from the third dimension to the fourth to the fifth dimension. Well, concretely, we're gonna conclude a little bit to do a recap and also the overview, the big picture in 3 steps, especially of the transition from the future, let's say a former world, to a new era. I say to a new era and not the new era. I think there are probably different possibilities. So, if I had to say, there are especially 3 steps, okay? The first one is a kind of diagnosis, okay? Is an audit and diagnosis of the situation. Always splitting up between large scale, okay, the world, and small scale, you and around your direct environment, okay? So let's consider the first one with the diagnosis. This is what we call apocalypse. Apocalypse in Greek means absolutely not catalysm and so on, storm or deluge and so on. Not at all. It's not this. Etymologically speaking, in Greek, it means revelation. That to say unveiling, we take out the veils of, let's say, the illusion. Okay, illusion. Okay, the sickness of the illusion in a certain extent. Okay, so concretely is to identify these veils we have in front of the vision to see the true color of things, of society and so on. So, as I say to you, at the large scale, this is having the big picture, an overview, holistic perspective, holistic vision, integrated all the parameters. So, it can be through 3 axes: eco and finance, okay, financial, economic system. Secondly, ecology, and third, social. First one, the system is based on a pyramid scarcity, for which, in a sustainable economy, the system always wants more and more, an increase, increasingly, drastically and so on, endlessly. The tree don't reach the sky. There is a limit. Okay, so it's absolutely impossible, especially in a limited world with limited resources. Okay, so if we consider like this, and it is boosted, okay, artificially stimulated through the depth. Okay, the depth, just for you to have a rough idea, the world is in depth around 225%. What does it mean? It means, and these figures are old, they have 2 years, so imagine with COVID much more. So it means it's like if you earn your salary, your income is $1,000 per month, and you spend $2,250. So you're in debt compared to who? The bank and so on. The richest country towards other country, but everybody is in debt. That's why the bubble is between the reality and the debt is not tangible. But anyway, just to say that the economical system is not really balanced. Basically, there is a minority owning so much and so much waste. When we consider that we waste 40% almost of the food, and with this food we could compensate by giving food to everybody on the planet. Okay, so I think you know the story. We cannot say that is completely fair. We cannot say it's completely, say there is no justice regarding that. Anyway, okay. Profit is more important than nature, is more important than human being. That's it. Okay. Secondly, this is the notion of environment. No need to have a PhD in botany and or in biology to consider that in half century, the human beings destroyed half of the species, okay, some animals, some insects and so on. And same principle as this is an ecosystem, is like if you take an electronic device, you open up and you take it out half of the components because you say, oh, this one is ugly, or is useless, and so on. And then you're surprised because it doesn't work anymore, and or it's not working as well as before. There's the same principle. So this is absolutely nothing new and nothing astonishing. I mean, as a result of the climate change and so on, and the results of hello, SOS, save our soul. Hello, human beings. Are you aware that, well, anyway, you know the story. We are completely off-grounded, okay, of the planet, Gaia, Mother Earth, the vibration and so on, the cycle and so on, you know the story. And third axis, social, do you know, okay, we can say before there was kind of opposition, binary system vision between socialism, collectivism, communism, and the capitalism, okay, capitalism won everywhere in the world, almost. Except some like Turkmenistan, Belarus, okay, some islands, let's say. But capitalism won. But do a survey. How many people, especially in rich country, how many people in percentage feel fulfilled, feel connected, feel in harmony, basically. Spiritual, not spiritual, is not the question. It's just how many people think they are matching with their reason for being, they are matching with something higher, and they feel fulfilled. But I don't know so much, so many, to be frank with you. So that's why a lot of people are afraid. They are afraid about globalization, the fact to make it global, the fact to the homogenization of society, and so on and so forth. So they are more inner gazing, but like creating shields, creating a lot of frontiers, more and more and more and more. I'm not saying open up the frontiers and open up the door and this is the big mess. This is absolutely not my point. I'm just saying that in this vision of competition, scarcity, everything, a lot of people having this dimension of nationalism, of locality, fundamentalism, and so on and so forth. This is not something for a springboard to a new paradigm, definitely. Okay, so this limits the process of global awakening, because the transition is an operational awakening, the collective awakening and individual awakening. So let's say that if we continue this notion, because this is at the larger scale, that you say the word, but we can consider that there is also apocalypse, the revelation to handle with yourself individually, okay? Collectively, individually. But what is it? Is the destruction of the ego. I mean, it's not really the destruction of the ego. It's more, let's say, it's the identification of the ego. It's the definition of the ego, the functioning of the ego, and then the identification of the ego, okay, to know how it works and eventually how to adjust, okay, fine-tuning. Not fight-tuning, no, fine-tuning. All right, so the definition of the ego, I told you, is linked to personality, identification, individuality, duality, okay, separation. To exist means separate from everything. The big old God, whatever. Okay, so we separate when we embody this existence and so on and so forth. All right, so the ego age God out, we could say also, in the notion of big wall, everything. So the functioning is he separates, okay, for the good, for the bad, okay? There's not necessarily negative. But the identification of that is the personality, okay? In the Greek theater, as it was silent theater, we used to wear a mask with a smile, or happiness, and so on, for showing the emotions. Okay, so the mask, the mask, the personality is the mask, the different mask, which is not our true self. This is not the true I am. These are just clothes. Okay, these are clothes, but we are not naked. Naked would be the fact to be the self, the true I am, the higher self. Okay, and the different costumes that we wear are just for the piece of theater. okay, for the role you play, teacher, daddy, mother, grandfather, and so on, so on. We are different according to the piece of theater, but we are co-playing, okay? But so the identification is the result of your education, your culture, your parents, by integrating, by rejecting, and so on. The culture, the religion, everything, the language, all this shape your mind, your mindset, and created the personality. So are we this, or you are something else different? This is the key question. Okay, so how to eventually to change that to be, as I'm always saying, this is just a vehicle. Huh? Ego is a vehicle to go from somewhere to a place to another one. So concretely is not bad at the end. It's just a good servant, but a bad master. Okay, so the problem is that very often it is the master of ourselves. That's the point. Okay, the dictator even, and also this is what putting the mess in the human connection and synergy and harmonious, peaceful state and so on. Well, second step, so the first one is apocalypse, okay? It is, let's say, diagnosis, okay, revelation. Second one is the intervention, okay, this operation, okay, is the cleansing, okay? So, concretely, regarding the large scale, this is to rethink entirely the system, okay, social, economical, science, education, everything with a holistic vision, with preventive and, I mean, curative, okay, clean up, healing, and also preventive. But not destroying everything and just, it's like the masterpiece. The masterpiece you don't break and then you recreate from scratch. Otherwise you destroy everything. But if you take piece by piece, single piece by single piece with laser and so on, you rebuild it and it's stronger. So this is my perspective, my vision for that. So concretely is, it's trying to rethink the entire pattern of society with crossing more abilities and discipline and so on. And also to define some objectives, okay, and what we want concretely. And it has to vibrate, of course, and to be co-opted. But as Seneca said, I say quite often, there is no favorable wind for the sailor who doesn't know where to go. So if you run, but you have no point to go, it's useless. Okay, so that's the same thing. But for this, it goes in the sense of Einstein, who say, think out of the box. You cannot solve the problems with the same mindset that created them. That's the same thing. Okay, so we need also to make recirculate good energy, good mindset of people, momentum. That's why I'm always saying, I wish to initiate, but not only by myself. It is not the ego talking about that. This is just, I wish that a momentum of, let's say, lucidity, okay, we are aware about all is not working well, and then optimism, okay, we think we can improve, and then pragmatism, practical dimensions, that's to say, we are not only dreamer, we are also doer. Be the change that you want to see in the world. So we make cycling, recycling, and the fact that there is a better flow, okay, the better energy of positiveness and so on is extremely important. So that's why, for example, I gave you an example of this. We are building a platform of good ideas from the past, okay, from world heritage and currently. Okay, so this is something I talk about that in self-complacency in key 57, okay, and I explain quite more of this. What's the goal of this? To avoid that when you watch the news, you just want to suicide at the end because it's only negativity. So the goal is to highlight the light, okay? What does it mean? There is probably as many good things as many bad things happening now, Okay, so, but we focus only on the half empty glass and not on the half full. So this could create, like when I say momentum, okay, it creates a mimicry. Okay, it means that the environment influences people. If you see everybody is gloomy, you become gloomy. Even if initially you're positive, you will be affected. You will infuse the bad energies. It's the same thing. So if we propose this kind of let's say project, which is supposed to activate the positivity, the positiveness, the optimism of people, I think it can start. I'm not saying it does everything, huh? Not at all. Then same for what I say in the previous video, the evolutionary school is this, is practical, is to invest in the gray matter of each new generation, okay, for not depending on, let's say, limited resources, but unlimited resources with abundance with human beings. That's the point. The notion of proximity as well. I definitely think that is really important to re-establish links between people, solidarity, and so on and so on. This is what is missing for in our modern society more and more. Then, individual cleansing. Okay, so this is accepting, this is acceptance, welcoming, and a new state of mindset. What does it mean? It means that this is not necessarily very comfortable, this is not very pleasant, but it's a work to do, okay? So, according to what we want, of course. But it's like cleaning, at home is never pleasant, but at the end, the result is nice. Okay, you feel more comfortable and so on. You did your job. So, cleansing, so what does it mean? It means clean up your trauma, okay, from the past. From childhood, from all the things affected yourself and for which you still are dependent affectively, energetically, and regarding different other dimensions. Okay, so clean up this. That's really important. So it's not you do it in 2 seconds. It requires sometimes time with different ways, therapies, and so on and so far. It's absolutely up to anybody. To manage the lineage problems from the family, okay, the family heritage, some fears and so on. This is same. Clean up this. You don't belong to that. You can say, okay, I understood the lesson now. You can take it back. Okay, you see, this is really like this. Then it can be also inherit from the word heritage. For instance, if we go further in the memory self of humanity, okay, it can be from your another life, for example, for karma, which is not solved. You have been a murderer, you did many bad things in the past. It's never too late. Too late to apologize. No, you can do it. You can clean up. Okay, by behaving properly today, you can clean the past and eventually to as a springboard to establish something greater in the future. Okay, so this is really important, this notion of cleansing. Step 3 is the re-education. After an operation, usually you need to stay a little bit in the bed. You need, a crutch. You need many things like this to help. Okay, and also to have a new hygiene of life. And this is the third step, is the transmutation, transcendence. What does it mean? But look at, if someone has a burnout or an attack, okay, heart attack, because he's 60 years old and he smoke and he drink and so on and so forth, so much, okay, and then he has an attack, all right, and then he come back to normal life. Okay, if he doesn't take it as a lesson, he doesn't change anything in this behavior, nothing will change. His health will not improve by magic. Okay, it's same. This is always what I say. That's why the deresponsabilization, the fact you outsource the responsibility, saying, "Ah, Messi will come." Extraterrestrial will come, galactic and so on, to help us and to do the job. Sorry, it's really immature to say that. It's infantilizing the awakening. You know, it's the principle that you have a teenager, or I don't know, students, and he's really disgusting and so on. He doesn't clean at all. He has a bad hygiene of life, so there is a carton of pizza everywhere. It's disgusting. No friends wants to come, even no ladies. And one day for his birthday, friends of him offer him just a few hours for a cleaning lady come to clean up everything. Okay, fair enough, good. Everything is super clean. Okay, friends can come and so on. But after 1 month, it would be the same mess if he didn't change anything in his behavior. That's the same. How do we think we could have a new paradigm if we don't change anything, individually and collectively? Same cause, same effect. Okay, it's binary, and this is quite logical. Okay, so believe in the Santa Claus coming and doing for us. Okay, for me it's really a kind of childish vision, to be honest. But anyway, it's personal. So what is really important in that process is the will, okay, the mindset, okay. That's to say, motivation, discipline, and so on. The fact to be involved in this process, okay. It doesn't mean that sometimes you cannot fall down and to be tired, you don't believe anymore, and so on. It's okay, this, and then someone help you back. But at least to avoid what's almost, half, I would say that, almost, big part of spirituality and so on. Most of the time they waste the time by criticizing, by being against and so on, is not constructive and is just pure hate. So what's the goal of this? Is, as we say in French, criticizing is easy, okay? Acting, arting and art is difficult. I think it's so true. It's so easy not to make any mistakes when we are just sit down in a comfortable sofa, and then on our computer, happy, not happy, I confirm, so on. But this is not practical. And well, anyway, I think you get it. So this personal improvement can be through many basics that we're gonna see, which are very important basics, like rising your vibration of love and happiness. Only that, even if you don't believe, and so on. I gave in Sage Passage Utopia 65, okay, exercise and tools and techniques to be happy. I gave in between the key 2021 and then from 40 to 41 two videos of 30 different keys, same key techniques for being happy and being in harmony. So in total you have 60, okay? All right? So why is so important? Rising your vibration is a question of ascension, ascending, okay? Ascent. So is linked, okay? If we are always fighting and happy and so on, density, low vibration, you co-create the fact that is worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, okay? Endlessly. But if you always honor life and you're happy, shining, radiating, you improve the process of transition towards a new era. The reconnection, these are the basics. The reconnection to yourself, the reconnection to nature, the reconnection with human beings, regardless their origin, their way of thinking and so on. It doesn't mean that you are friends with the whole entire planet. No, it means that you tolerate at least the different perception. Okay? invisible world as well. The invisible world, energies, subtle bodies, entities, whatever, God, if is à la carte. Okay, so, and then because the more you open up, the reconnection allows you to feel the world vibrate within you. Okay, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are in the entire ocean within a drop. This is from Rumi, the great Sufi. So this is activating or being sensitive or receptive to synchronicities, for instance. Okay, so this is extremely important. The fact to be grateful is not a detail. Grateful, same, it's rise your vibration and your energies. So then in the co-creation, you attract what you think, what you vibrate, and so on. So we are magnets. Okay, once again, in the co-creation is this. The forgiveness. The forgiveness is not to forget. It's just to clean up. Okay, to go through. Okay, I told you in the key 33, and you have a meditation just to forgive someone, for instance. And there is a guided meditation only for that. 33 is just to explain, and 33 parallel is exercise. Okay, so I invite you to do it. I mean, if you want, it's up to you. I told you Yom Kippur, this is a Jewish celebration. Yom in Hebrew means day. Kippur means purification. Okay, what does it mean? It's not the day of forgiveness, it's the day of purification. By forgiving, we purify ourselves and we purify other people. And this is a beautiful symbolic. Okay, just keep this in mind. The non-violent communication. This is the transparency. Okay, you express yourself. You express your potential resentments, frustration, rumination, all this. You keep here, and it's bad, it's somatic, it creates cancer and disease. Disease, you're not at ease anymore. Okay, the fluidity of the circulation of your energy and so on. So say things properly. Okay, you can express your heart, your perception, and your needs to someone, and the person can do it as well. And once you do that, most of the time there is an understanding, except extreme cases. But most of the time it's discharged by energy. So communication is extremely important. Inner child is not a detail. I said before, is the capacity, wow, to marvel at life, to appreciate small happiness. Okay, and this is also the capacity to believe in incredible dreams. They did it because they didn't know it was impossible. This is a principle. Okay, what else? Understanding the holy style of life. Okay, I think practice in your daily life for spirituality, but also the fact that everything is sacred, saints, and connected, interconnected. So, and to find the common thread of your own life and the common thread of all lives, like canvas. This is fascinating. It's not so simple, but at least it's like Indiana Jones, is kind of enigma. Develop your intention and creativity is the basic of having more ideas and so on, and we need definitely to change and to improve our society. So this is for me the important basics. Then the pragmatism is practice is this is practice, but this is more in terms of projects, to have let's say concrete actions. Okay, which is for me like association, like charity stuff and so on, but can be a small scale. No need necessarily to go abroad and so on. You can do it locally. But this is for me operational prayer. What does it mean? It means that it's different to pray for new paradigm, okay, every day, and to activate the process of vibrating through an association, down to earth, real projects. It's send definitely more proactive, let's say, energy for realization. This is important to be helped and to apply some methodology. Okay, it's not. I mean, it's no point. I mean, it's really important to have methodology, to have objectives, to have a timeline, to have a deadline, to have analysis, to have let's say a methodology, to have tools, to have a basic resilience, that's to say corrective action, then you readjust and so on, back plan B, plan C, plan D, and so on. This is purely organization. And this we need also for this transition of new paradigm. This is really important. Once again, proximity is important with real organization, association, community, whatever, and so on, but the possibility to exchange with people, for being listened and to listen as well, okay? We need more benevolence. We need more help. This is the basics. No need that galactics arrive for us to be kind, right? No? Don't you think? So, this is really important to show the example. As you know, be the change that you want to see in the world, as Gandhi said nicely and wisely. The goal is to avoid this notion of to deresponsabilize, to outsource the responsibility through other community, other people, and so on. It's up to us to co-create. It's up to us to decide to change or not. This is for me extremely important notion. Regarding the worldwide aspect, but is linked as well, this is also the notion of take into account the techniques, for example, alternative techniques for science, for medicine, and so on, if the result is positive. And doesn't mean that there is a battle between alternative science or alternative medicine and traditional medicine and modern medicine. It can be a mix of everything. That's the point. And this is holistic approach. Then I wanted to close up, let's say, and to open up also a dimension. When I say it's so important, U vibration, because everything is energy, we say it. So it's the principle of egregore. Egregore, to make it short, is like you. An egregore is like a cloud. Consider it like this. You vibrate with your energy of your brain. If we put electrodes, you will have, we could calculate, we can measure hertz, okay, frequencies. And then, okay, you think about something positively, this new paradigm, okay, or you think badly and you say, this is bullshit, it doesn't work, man is a wolf, and so on. Okay, we know the story, okay, very negative. Both sides you give a credits to the cloud. So your little drop of consciousness goes to the cloud, okay, with more density, because it's combining with other energies. So the cloud, after reaching a certain critical, let's say, threshold, start to reach a certain density, and the rain, it's raining. Okay, what does it mean? It's a symbol. It's become real on Earth. Okay, so all what we think, we co-create, and especially when people adhere, when a large scale of people adhere to one idea, for the good, for the bad. If we activate a lot the fact it doesn't work, we go to a disaster, it's going to be the end of the world, and so on, and a lot of cataclysm, we co-create that. If we think everything will be all right, not because we burn candles and we are waiting for ET and so on. No, if we do things as well, and if we believe and we are, let's say, grateful for the result is already here and so on and so forth, okay? Co-creation, visualization, all the things we saw in different keys, 36, 38, and 39. So, why is so important? So that's why I'm always saying the individual awakening, your individual awakening, affect the individual awakening of her, of him, and the individual awakening of him impact me as well, and my awakening is affecting other people and so on, and vice versa and so on. And this generates an egregor of awakening, and this egregor affects all of us plus other people, even not integrated in the first egregor. You understand? This is resonance effect, okay? That's why it's so important not to wait for something outside. Check all esoteric part of any religion and spirituality. Everything, all inner journey is always inner, is only inward, okay? Inwardly and never outwardly, okay? It means first, and then we can access help doing things and so on, but keep this in mind, you cannot go to toilets for someone else. That's the same principle. In parallel of that, there is also the notion of key 15, space-time. Who knows if there is no parallel world, multiverse, for which all scenarios coexist. So you remember two options, new paradigm, very beautiful, luminous, and the extreme chaos. Both coexist, maybe. And different alternatives as well. So when Einstein say, he says something like, sorry, I forget it, match the frequency of the reality that you want and you cannot stop getting it. This is not philosophy, this is science. Okay, what does it mean? It means that vibrate according to your goal and visualize, feel it and so on, and you cannot not obtain it. I mean, you are obliged to obtain it. This is not spirituality, this is not philosophy, this is science. Okay, so it's a question of frequencies. So maybe we shift regularly, maybe each second we shift. So that's why it's so important, this notion of be the change that you want to see in the world. That's why Rumi, the great Sufi, say differently. When I was young, I was smart, I wanted to change the world. Now I'm wise and I change myself. Why? Because the impact of myself will have an impact on the entire world, in the concept that we are the universe contains us, okay? That's the point. So, of course, you know, it's the principle, the more you go on the snow at the beginning is, you know, like you collapse and so on, and the more people go on it, walk on it, it becomes stable. It's the same thing. For the more pioneers will go more and more in their mind and so on, in their dreams to a new paradigm, it will it will become, it's not true, but more accessible for larger scale of people. That's my point. So this is the principle of polishing your own philosopher's stone, as I say at the beginning, to insert in the collective building, and this is the principle of Christ dimension, nothing to see with Christianism, is just Christ, Christus, the purification of the self, to shift from your garment of skin to garment of light, okay? A word to a wise. I really invite you to think, to maturate, to meditate all these aspects, and also to try to put in practice what vibrate and so on. All right, I hope that it will help you for you to shape your own master key, to open up the door of consciousness, of love, of what you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to the Dome and to home. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.